Witch, putting the K in magic. I'm Joanna DeVoe, and you're watching another episode of Every Which Way. This time featuring Leah Shapiro, freedom fighter and self-love champion, freak flag flyer, purple-haired, tattooed mermaid goddess, here to help you raise your freak flag in business and in life. And if you don't run your own business, if you're not an entrepreneur, I still recommend sticking around for this interview because her message is applicable to all of us. It's about authenticity and stepping into who you really are and not being afraid to present your true self to the world. And you know I'm all about that. So if you like me, you're probably going to like her too. So here she is, Miss Leah Shapiro. Hi, Leah. Welcome to Every Which Way.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I'm stoked to get to talk to you because your brand is so on theme with what I'm all about. And the first thing I want to ask you about is your purple hair. Because you really do fly your freak flag. You wear it on the outside with the tattoos and the hair. So can you explain how that ties into your brand?
Well, I'm all about being fully self-expressed. And to me, having purple hair is just part of who I am. Like, the first time I had purple hair was in 1983 when I was when I was like a junior. No, maybe I was a senior in high school, and it was just starting to be popular, and I wanted to have it done. And me and a friend of mine went out and we got our hair done. It was awesome. But I was the only person in my school, me and Karen were the only people that had purple hair. And I was a captain of the track team, and they all hated it. And they made me hide my hair for our team pictures. And it kind of just taught me that, wow, there's a lot of resistance to being different in my world.
Yeah.
And
when did you start back up with the purple?
I did my hair purple again. This will be 2 years now that I've had it nonstop.
Nice.
And as a business person, I decided that I was going to be whoever I wanted to be and show up whoever I wanted to. So there we go. I went to my hairdresser and she was excited to do it.
Wow. It's such a example of the times we're in right now, too. I mean, we live in such a beautiful, privileged environment as entrepreneurs that we get to present ourselves this way, and people love it. They love authenticity, and you're so much about that.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what you're helping other people do. You have clients, and you're a coach. How do you encourage that? It's not just about everybody going out and dyeing their hair purple. How are you working with people to help them find their own version of flying their freak flag?
Well, mostly when people come to me, they already have something that they want to do. Mm-hmm. That's really part of who they are. It's like this whisper they keep getting in the back of their mind, and they just think they can't do it. And so I encourage them to bring that forward and to kind of get rid of anything that's blocking them. There's usually some kind of story or limiting belief that's telling them they shouldn't do it. Nobody else is doing it. It's too wild. Nobody wants to hear this from me. Who am I to do this? So I help them get rid of all those stories. But also, I think a lot of the entrepreneurs that come to me, they think there's a right way to do business, even though, the whole idea of having your own business, doing your own thing is so you can have the freedom. But deep down inside, we think there's a right way to do it. And there's so many people selling blueprints and telling you this is the way to succeed that you buy into that. So a big part of what I do is help people kind of unwind those stories and step outside and find out what's going to make them successful, because it looks different for everybody. And part of that is feeling comfortable to be able to express yourself. To me, that's the biggest part of it.
Can you give us an example, maybe one question you might pose to them or a prompt you might give to have them start, building up to have the bravery to put themselves out there?
Well, it always starts with what would feel better to you. Like any problem, any situation, anything that's not working. I ask, what would feel better. To start getting them to think about what does feel better to them, what feels natural. And then to look at, I do something called the Daily Yum with all my clients. And it's really just a daily practice that has you start looking at all the things that work for you and to look at all the things that you appreciate in your life and how you are awesome so that you can get really, like, a lot of people don't pay attention to that stuff. They don't even think about that. So to really start focusing on what makes you awesome, what feels good to you, what works for you, what you want more of. And so as I start taking them down that path, and then it becomes, they become more self-confident because they're focusing on all the things that are awesome about themselves. And they're amplifying the energy of the juicy goodness by doing appreciation. Nice. It's like that little bit of magic happening there. They're sending out some powerful mojo. And then by focusing on what works for you, what feels good to you, then you're kind of creating your own path to follow. Yeah. I feel like it's really effective.
And you're a big believer in the law of attraction. I see. That's on your website.
Yeah, it's like the basis of everything. I think the energy we embody, where we focus our attention, what we think is possible, the stories we tell, that creates our experience without a doubt. You couldn't, like, I know this to be true from my own life and from the work I do with other people. And so it all comes down to, like, your stories and what you think is possible. And you need to teach yourself or relearn how to focus on how you want it to be.
Yeah, and you, since you are in business and you're teaching other women or other people, I should say, that are running their own businesses how to do this, what do you think about alienating people and being your true self? Like, I have my own opinions, but I'd love to hear yours about being polarizing and just really, like, standing in what you are and letting, let it sift out the riffraff.
Yeah. I think you want to do that, actually, and I encourage people to do that because you want to take a stand for what you believe in and have a really strong opinion for what you stand for in your business and in your life, I think. Mm-hmm. And the more that you do that, and the more you believe and know what you stand for, and you feel good about that and feel strongly about that, you're sending out a really strong signal. So some people are going to hate it and tell you you suck or you're wrong or you shouldn't do that, but who cares? Like, they're not your people. They're not going to buy anything from you. The people who love it, they've been waiting for you their whole lives. They've been waiting for someone to be standing there saying what they feel, saying what they want, and they're going to flock to you. The stronger, I think, the more of a stand that you take, and you kind of plant your freak flag in the ground and say, this is me, this is what I stand for, this is what I'm all about, the easier it is for your people to find you. It's like you become this shiny, bright beacon. And if we want to talk about the energy of that, like, the better you feel about that, the stronger a signal you're sending out by being really clear and not wishy-washy and really taking a stand, like, you're going to attract people that resonate with you around that. So you're a bright beacon, and energetically you're just calling to you people who feel the same way and who are looking for what you're offering.
It's tribal.
Yeah.
Another great thing about the internet, I do think people have been like, I've been waiting for you my whole life, about a variety of people who have really risen to the top being themselves. I think for so long, I know I'm old enough to see this transition. We were only presented with very glossy, perfect images that were groomed and snipped by publicists and stylists. So it's quite telling that, people come on and they're like in their pajamas in their garage doing a video show and they have 10,000 followers all of a sudden. We relate to that.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, and it's not just about business. I mean, what you do, I know you specifically work with entrepreneurs, but your message is for everyone.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think it's hard to separate the business and the personal for entrepreneurs, especially because you're creating something that you feel passionate about, that you're inspired to do, that it's all from you. It's your idea, it's your desire. And the better you feel about yourself, about who you are, the more you know who you are, the more you give yourself permission unconditionally to be who you are, to fly your freak flag, the the clearer signal you're sending out. Like, if you think that you think that you suck, or that you're stupid, or that you can't pull it off, then you're sending that out there. And not just in your business, but in your personal life too. So it's important to like be in this place of love and acceptance for all of who you are, for your business as well as your own life. I think like you can't separate the two.
Absolutely. What is, just in you talking about this, therapy comes to mind. I'm thinking, this whole coaching thing, it's like a positive epidemic. It's a coaching epidemic. They're everywhere. There's all these coaches to help you with things. And I notice some of the older generations in particular are like rolling their eyes, and they think it's just absurd that anyone would need a coach. So can you talk a little bit about the difference between having a coach and having a therapist, and why a coach is not ridiculous?
Well, I think there's a huge difference, actually. To me, I think therapy, and like I thought I was going to be a therapist initially. I have a BA in social psychology, and that's where I was headed.
Oh, wow.
But I feel like there's this stagnant dynamic that happens where you go to a therapist, you just talk about your problems, and how, there seems to be like you're just stirring up a bunch of stuff you don't want. And there's not, the therapist usually doesn't tell you how to fix the problem, or to change the problem, or call you out when you're still talking about the same thing 2 years later. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like therapy just is like a container to bring your stuff and talk about it, but there's no plan for moving forward and changing things. With a coach, like, if you're stuck in something that you can't get past, coaching, as far as I'm concerned, coaching isn't for you. That's a better place to go have a counselor or therapy, someone who can therapeutically help you. Mm-hmm. But if you're ready to take action and move forward, that's what coaching is all about. It's about just telling your story and changing it, taking some action to make things different. And especially if you work with someone like me, who's all about taking action, being positive, the forward motion, then we're constantly figuring out how you want it to be. Like, it's all about anything's possible, and let's go get it. So we're going to create a plan to do that. Yeah. Which in therapy, like my experience, like I talk to someone sometimes, we're not creating any plans, we're just talking, And yeah. I work with clients who have therapists too, and they come to me because they want to move forward now. So
yeah, I think great coaches are about fear busting and holding you accountable, and not holding your hand, but like pushing you, kicking you in the butt a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it's like, okay, so you want to do this? Let's go. Let's do it. You have to take action and move forward and really want to make something happen. And I don't know, make something happen is probably not the right languaging, but you really want to change things in your life. And you're ready. I call it, you're ready for expansion. I can help you deal with the resistance to your expansion by holding a big mirror up to you and saying, look here, do you see why you're stuck? And then this is how you change it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what are people usually stuck with? Is there a commonality, or is it just a little bit different for everybody,
I think the main underlying theme is people are afraid that no one's going to like them. Like, there's this culture of people pleasing and taking responsibility for other people's happiness. And that little piece runs through everything. We're taught it growing up. Like, I think parents, they're not purposely doing this, but you're brought up with emotional manipulation. If you don't quiet down, I'm going to be very angry. Or you're going to be punished, Or you got A's, wow, you're such a good boy, you're a good girl. So, like, we're taught that what we do makes other people happy or mad. Like, we're responsible for other people's feelings. And we're responsible for making other people comfortable. So, like, that's the underlying piece. We don't want people to be mad at us or not like us. And it's all about how we act. So we're always looking outside ourselves at how other people are reacting to us to determine if we're okay. And that's ass backwards. Yeah. I'm the only one that can really tell if I'm okay by how I feel. And so I think that we are so busy trying to make sure everything outside of ourselves is happy, we forget how to look inside and to tune in to our own inner guidance and what is really right for us. So we resist feeling our feelings. We run away from that stuff. Or we just learn to tune it out and shut it down. So
I think those issues come up especially for internet entrepreneurs and on two levels. First, you're putting yourself out there, and then you're asking for money.
Yeah.
And it's the money part, I think, that really you can just hit a wall. Well, am I going to scare away all my customers if I do this? Am I going to, I just see a lot of that. I feel a lot of that myself. My business isn't even 9 months old. So I can see the power of having someone helping you push past those little, even if they're there. I'm a very self-aware person. I know I can call myself out on my BS, but then I can also give myself a pass out of it and be like, oh, it's okay, little bunny. It'd be nice to have somebody be like, so what are you going to do about it,
Well, too, it's like we take it personal. Or we take everything so personally. If someone doesn't buy something from us, oh, what did we do wrong? There must be something wrong with what we're doing. As opposed to, standing in a place where your business is your business and it's separate and it's really a big, giant experiment to see what works and what doesn't work. So if you could take that personal piece out and not be worrying so much about, oh, how did I mess this up? Or what am I doing wrong? And just look at the place that didn't work. What's next? But it's that personal piece. I can't tell you how many people I talk to that have that. They're so personally attached to anything that happens. Me too. I catch myself being in that place too sometimes.
Yeah, totally. What do you say here? You're a freedom fighter and a self-love champion. So I guess that's where the self-love comes in.
Yeah. Well, I just did a big brand switch over, and my business used to be called Defy the Box.
Yes, that's how I found you originally. Yeah. I've been watching you for a while, Leah.
Thank you. But what I found, working in the context of Defy the Box, which in and of itself is pushing against something, and that didn't feel good to me after a while, because I don't think we need to fight to be who we are. I think the only battle we're fighting is the one inside of our own heads saying that we're supposed to be something else. We're supposed to be different. We're not good enough. They're not going to like me. Oh, what did I do wrong? Where we're overanalyzing, full of self-doubt, criticizing ourselves, and questioning everything. That's the only thing standing between me or you and everything that you want. If you can step outside of that, just give yourself permission to be who you are. Know yourself. Flaws and all, just accept them. This is who I am. Learn to what's your strengths? What are you not so good at? Do more of what you're good at. Do less of what you're not so good at. Rather than trying to fix ourselves. We just learn to love and accept who we are and just give ourselves permission to be who we are. That's where our success lies. Yeah. That's where our superpowers are. Yeah. Woohoo!
When did you start your business? This business?
Well, I've been coaching since 2004.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was mostly doing law of attraction stuff back then. Opened Defy the Box in 2008. And the Leah Sphere, LeahShapiro.com, just came online in October.
Nice. Well, okay, so you've had the purple hair for 2 years. It seems like I was going to ask you, when did this just click for you? Did you have a moment? But it seems like for you it was steps, every couple of years you took another step into it and another step into it. Is that how it was for you?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say in 2008 I had a huge shift into the Defy the Box. I really was clear on what the process was for really creating a life that you loved. Creating that kick-ass life. Yes. I got really clear. It's all about where your mind is. It's all about turning inside and being tuned into your own inner guidance, because that's going to lead you where you need to go. Paying attention to if you're feeling expansive or contracted, and really tuning into that and being able to see that and feel that. And then rewriting your stories. Where are you telling yourself that you can't do something? Where are you limited? So just getting really clear on that. So I'm using the same process now, But the piece that I really got was last year. It just really started to sink in with all the people I was working with and just doing more and more of this work myself. The daily yum especially was really helpful. That no one was like, the more I just was who I was without thinking about it, the more I flew my freak flag and just said what I wanted to say and showed up how I wanted to say, showed up how I wanted to be, and had my hair the way I wanted to, and like just stopped worrying about what everybody else was saying or what they would think or how I would come across, then the more successful I got.
Okay, what is the daily yum? I mean, I understand the concept, but is that something that that's just for your clients that you coach? Is that, how does that work?
Well, it's a daily practice I created, and it is, the whole point of it is to shift your focus and your energy. So you start your day finding 3 things you appreciate about your life. And I think the appreciation, there's a distinction between appreciation and gratitude. I think being grateful implies you didn't think you could have that anyway, and wow, I got this, and wow, I'm so lucky to have this. I think appreciation is more of the energy of unconditional love. You're just looking at something and you're like, wow, that flower's so beautiful. There's no question of whether it deserves to be beautiful or you deserve to be looking at it. You're just appreciating it. You're seeing it, noticing the beauty. Really, like, the energy seems more expansive to me. So,
wow, I've really never heard that before. That's a new one for me, and it makes sense.
yeah, like I think appreciation really is like unconditional love, and I think it's good to notice what you appreciate because that's helping you come into your, like, tune into your inner guidance and come into your alignment, because we all appreciate different things, you know? Like, I know people that appreciate, you know, dead carcasses at the side of the road. Like, seriously, they love them. They take them. Me, I'm like, oh, that's gross, but, you know, it's all good. So, like, so you take some time to appreciate 3 things, and you feel it. Like, that energy, you're feeling that energy, basking in it. That's amplifying the energy. You're sending a strong signal out first thing in the morning. And then finding 3 things you appreciate about yourself, which people have a hard time with, but it's really important because you need to know, more so than anybody, how awesome you are. You know, how you feel about yourself is the most important thing, I think. And then you, the second part of that is, at the end of your day, you list a couple things that felt really good to you, that worked, that were in the flow. And then you write down a couple things that you want more of. So you're shifting your focus to what's working, what you want more of, and what you're appreciating.
Great practices.
Yeah, it changes everything, because most people pay attention to what's not working and what needs to be changed and where they think they dropped the ball. So.
Can you go back a little bit and talk about stories? Because you mentioned that. Can you talk about the stories we tell ourselves a little bit? And how you can change your story? I mean, it's a bit like affirmations, isn't it? I mean, you can say an affirmation, but it's not really going to do much unless you feel it, you know, and you have to eventually believe it. So how does that work with stories?
So we all have stories about everything. They could be as simple as, like, your stories about money and your stories about relationship, you know, your stories about yourself. Like the idea that you have to work hard for the money. Like, a lot of people have that story. It's not worth it if you don't work really hard. And, like, so that underlies everything, and they always find themselves working hard. Matter of fact, if someone offered them a job where they'd get paid $1 million to just hang out, they would never take it, because they don't, like, that's not in the realm of what's possible for them, because it's not part of their story. So it's important to tune in and identify what your stories are. Do you want to work hard for your money or not? You know, if working hard for your money feels good and you love it, then that's one thing. But if it's frying you and burning you out and making you feel awful, then rewrite that story. Money flows easily to me. And a lot of times, some people can just make that shift to get the awareness. They can just shift it. But you need to work towards it. So you might say, okay, where's one time in your life that you didn't have to work hard and you got what you wanted? You know, so you start collecting some evidence that supports this new idea, so you can kind of convince yourself of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said about the affirmations. If you don't believe it, then it's pointless.
Yes. Yes. So people can work with you one-on-one as a coach, but you also do group programs. And I know you have a program coming up in January that you're already talking about. Can you tell us a little bit about how we can participate in that if we want to, and what that's going to be? It's a joint thing, right? You're doing this with a friend of yours, or
my soul sister Kelly Sparta. She and I put together a program called Unleash Yourself. We'll be running it in January for the 3rd time. Oh. And I have to say, this program, like, it blew me away how successful it was. Like, I knew that what we were creating was great, like, but it wasn't until we actually started, like, we did 2 rounds of it that we realized how powerful this was. And it's a 30-day program that is a combination of, we have one call a week. We have a Facebook private group where people, you have homework and assignments to post in the group every day. There's the big connection, the community that forms is awesome. And people have been totally, like, changing their lives as a result of it. Like, people have been saying that they have never been this happy in their lives after doing the class. Like, and somebody left a relationship, divorced her husband because it just wasn't what she wanted, So the women that come, they know there's more for them. Like, their lives don't suck, but they're just not what they want. Like, there's stuff that just feels that's totally out of alignment for them, and they just don't know how to shift it. It looks good. We always say it looks good on paper, but to actually live it doesn't feel good.
So it's about that clarity.
Yeah. And to really empower women to do what feels right to them, to give themselves permission to live the life they want to live, and to make the changes that they want to make, to know who they want to be, to own it, and to not feel like they can't do it because it's not who they're supposed to be or, who they're expected to be.
Yes. Yeah. Gosh, great things happen when women come together, especially in large groups.
Great.
It's true. Well, is there one, awesome kick-ass tip you want to leave someone before I let you go with that might help them just start the process of, like, if not raising their freak flag, at least, like, putting it on the rope and, like, getting it on there and maybe start thinking about it a little bit?
I think the place to start is giving yourself permission. That's, to me, is like the place to start. You have to give yourself permission to speak your truth, to rock the boat, to make money, to fly your freak flag before you can even consider doing it. And if people want permission, I offer a great 15-minute freebie called Come Get Your Permission Slip, where I walk them through this process of identifying what's preventing them from giving themselves permission to do whatever they want. We identify the stories that are in their way. So that's my tip.
That is kick-ass. Everyone, right now, go sign up for your permission slip. Thank you so much, Leah. It was a pleasure talking to you.
I had a blast. Thank you.
Yeah, much love. Peace.